At the beginning of the movie, a woman named Serap is captured and punished for practicing black magic on humans, and the royal chief sentences her to death for her sins. Serap claims she was only trying to help people, but the villagers do not believe her and start pelting her with stones. The royal chief tells her to seek forgiveness from her victims and repent to God, to which she responds that when misery and hunger filled their lives, she fed them and gave them wealth. She reminds him that he was barren and worthless, but she gave him offspring. The royal chief insists it is time for her to die, to which Serap warns them to let her go, or she will take all of their lives like wild animals. The executioner severs her head from her body, but to everyone's horror, Serap remains alive. The movie then shifts to the present, where we see Aylin struggling with financial problems. As she walks toward her house, she is suddenly attacked by a group of men. One of them demands that she pay her father's debt, to which Aylin insists they have a deal, and she still has time, but the man responds that his boss has changed his mind and she must pay the debt tonight. In a desperate move, Aylin grabs a nearby bottle, holds it to the man's neck, and demands 3 more days to pay the debt. The man accidentally cuts his neck, begins bleeding, and leaves, giving her the 3-day extension. After this, she returns home, where she lives with her brother Begas, and despite their financial struggles, she does her best to keep him happy. That night, Aylin finds herself in a strange place where she hears someone calling her name. As she touches a wall, her father suddenly appears in demonic form and asks her to come with him. He tells her that he and her mother died because of her, and that he will keep torturing her. Aylin pushes him back, but is terrified to see a large wound on his head, revealing his brain. The ghost then turns towards her and says, "Die," causing Aylin to wake up in terror. After this, she goes to Ghani, where Ghani's friend Fitra is already present. They plan to rob a house, but Fitra does not like Aylin because she has recorded some of their conversations. She threatens him, saying that if he does not take her with them for the robbery, she will report him to the police. Ghani interrupts, pushes Fitra back, and then tells Aylin that she can't go with them. Aylin plays a recording from her phone, in which Fitra and Ghani are discussing robbing someone's house, because they need money for their friend Zia's heart surgery. In the recording, Ghani also mentions that Fitra made a girl pregnant, wants her to get an abortion, and sends her some money every month. Ghani introduces Zia and Aylin to each other, but Zia warns Aylin that Fitra and Ghani are like family to her. So if anything happens to them because of her, there will be consequences. Aylin takes out her phone and deletes the recording, saying she needed it to ensure she could come with them. The next morning, they reach the house they plan to rob but notice a car parked outside. They call their friend Dottie and inform him about the car. Dottie confirms that the house is supposed to be empty and suggests that the occupants might have gone on a trip without the car. They all wait for the night to carry out the robbery, and Zia stays in the car, while the other 3 go inside. And when they are jumping over the gate, we see an amulet hanging there. They find the door open and enter the house. Fitra tells Ghani to take the first floor with Aylin while he goes upstairs, and they agree to meet back in 30 minutes. Ghani instructs Aylin to take only valuables that are in large quantities, so the theft isn't easily noticed. They both enter different rooms, and Ghani finds some cash in a wardrobe. He takes all the cash, but when he continues searching, his hand touches something strange, and to his horror, he discovers a severed head, which disappears from there the very next moment. Meanwhile, Aylin sees Bagaz in the house, and she starts following him. Ghani comes out and finds Aylin going toward the basement, and she tells him that she saw Bagaz here. He tells her that it's impossible, and it smells awful here, but Aylin moves forward. On the other hand, Fitra gets startled when he sees his reflection in the mirror acting differently from him. His reflection then begins to pull a baby out of its stomach, terrifying him. But the next moment, the eerie vision disappears. Meanwhile, Ghani and Aylin discover dead bodies in a room. Among them, they notice a girl who is still alive and asking for help. As Gani moves forward to assist her, nails pierce his hands and feet. He calls Zia, instructing her to get the car ready. Aylin tells Gani that they don't know the girl, but he insists that she needs their help. He asks the girl how this happened to her and who she is. The girl explains that they wanted to sacrifice her, and when he asks who they are, she says she doesn't know. Gani tries to untie the rope from her hands, but his hands get burned. Seeing this, Aylin picks up an axe and cuts the rope tied to the girl's hands and feet. After this, as they start taking the girl away from there, we see another man in the room who is also alive. They find Fitra outside, and as Aylin opens the door, they are shocked to see that the exit is blocked by a wall. Fitra immediately rushes to open another door, but that exit is also blocked by a wall. Fitra gets frustrated by this and tries to blow up the wall with a gas cylinder, causing a huge explosion. However, when they check, they find that there isn't even a scratch on the wall. He blames Aylin for their predicament, but Gani says that pointing fingers won't solve the problem and that they must find a way out. As he is about to get up, the girl tells him not to go, and then she faints. They decide that Aylin and Fitra will go find a way out, and before leaving, Fitra hands Gani a knife for his safety. Fitra and Aylin enter a room and find a photo of the girl on the wall with her family. And on the opposite wall, Fitra notices a family tree. They learn from it that the girl's name is Sukma Paratrika, born on a Friday Kliwon, and Fitra tells Aylin that Sukma shares the same weapon with a woman at the top of the chart. Meanwhile, Gani notices Sukma whispering something, and as he gets closer to listen carefully, she wakes up and her eyes become demonic. A worm then comes out of her mouth and enters Gani's ear. Sukma says, "All humans will die," and Gani starts writhing in pain, stumbling around, and suddenly he is horrified to see the dead bodies of his friends there. On the other side, Aylin and Fitra hear Begaz calling Alan's name, and she rushes after him. Hearing Gani's scream, Fitra rushes to him. However, Gani sees Sukma instead of Fitra and asks her who she is. Fitra is confused by Gani's behavior, and when Gani asks Sukma what she did to his friends, she tells him that she killed all of them, and now it is time for him to die. Gani takes out the knife from his pocket, and as Fitra cautiously moves towards him, asking for the knife back, Gani attacks him, believing she killed his family. Fitra tries to tell Gani that he is his friend and attempts to escape, but Gani attacks him again, making a huge cut on his face, prompting Fitra to naturally throw him back. Fitra then rushes to another room and locks himself there, but there he sees many worms crawling on the ceiling. One of the worms falls and enters his mouth, and Fitra sees that the worm has entered his stomach, and to get rid of it, he starts stroking his stomach from different places so that the worm can come out. However, this doesn't work, and soon the remaining worms also fall on him. Meanwhile, Zia tries to contact her friends, and Fitra replies that he is in the yard. However, we see that it is actually Sukma speaking as Fitra. Sukma then suddenly appears in front of Zia and begins laughing, prompting Zia to hit her and knock her down. However, Sukma quickly gets up, and when Zia asks her who she is, Sukma tells her that she is Fitra. Zia hits her again, twisting Sukma's neck, but Sukma straightens her neck and continues laughing. Zia gets terrified seeing this and starts having a heart attack. She tries to run away but collapses after a short distance and dies on the spot. On the other hand, Aylin enters a room looking for Begaz when a worm falls on her and gets inside her clothes, and suddenly the light goes off. Aylin then hears a banging sound, and when she moves in that direction, she finds Begaz banging his head against a wall. Confused, Aylin approaches him and asks what he is doing there, to which he shows her an old newspaper clipping about their parents' accident. Begaz then disappears, and as Aylin turns, she is haunted by her father's ghost. Terrified, Aylin runs away and locks the door, and suddenly, someone places a hand on her forehead, making her unconscious. Later, he brings Gani and Aylin back to consciousness, and tells them that he just saved them from the effects of Median black magic, which can drive its victims mad. The man suspects Gani is Serap's grandson, but Gani says he doesn't know what the man is talking about, explaining that they are just thieves looking for money. The man tells them that the woman they let go is very dangerous, and then he tells Aylin that something is different about her. The man introduces himself as Orip Mahesuro, a noble descendant of a past kingdom. He explains that 20 years ago, he was tasked with hunting down evildoers who practiced black magic, and that 22 hours ago, he came to this house to end the pre-Wangan heritage of Serap. He then transports both of them into the past so they can see how it all started. He explains that they are on Java Island, and that Serap Sitarasmi Paratrika was the most powerful shaman of that time. They then see that Serap is still alive, even after her head is severe, and Arip explains that she gets her power from God to create a supernatural entity called Kodam. They called them Pre-Wangan, and Serap's Pre-Wangan is called Regi. 100 years of curse awaits until the next generation, who is born on the same day as hers, with the name Sukma, the woman they helped, and the curse can only be broken by the Kari Sernopatang. Serap declares that she may die today, but her Rajit will find the chosen one from her descendants, and they will avenge her death. The royal chief then kills her with the Kari's Sernopatang, and Orip tells Gani and Aylin that he came to the house to end the Rajit's inheritance ritual from passing to Sukma. He managed to weaken Sukma temporarily until they came and ruined everything. Gani says they had no intention of ruining Orip's plans, and only then remember that Fitra is not with them. He requests Orip to help them find Fitra, to which Orip says they have to find the Sernopatang, which was lost 200 years ago. He explains that Serap's children built this house to locate and cast Sernopatang into the South Sea. He tells them he can sense powerful energy from there, and when Gani goes to check, Orip tells Aylin that her friend is on the brink of death and advises her to say whatever she needs to before it's too late. Gani tells them they are ready to go down there, to which Orip agrees and emphasizes the urgency of finding Sernopatang quickly to stop Sukma and help their friend. Now, as they attempt to descend, they discover the stairs are broken, and as Orip says, they need something to go in there. He loses balance, causing everyone to fall. As they move forward, Aline mentions that she has seen this place before in her dream, but they initially don't believe her and continue. Gani asks Orip about the significance of the place, and suddenly they see Aylin approaching them while singing a song. Shocked, Orip identifies it as Kidung Samar, a spell against evil. Aylin continues forward and touches a wall, revealing Sernopatang hidden inside it. She takes out Sernopatang and opens it, triggering an explosion that breaks down the walls, blocking the exits, and the force of the explosion throws all three of them out of the cave. As this happens, Sukma comes there and demands to know about the Karis. She threatens to kill them all if they don't comply. They all get up, and Sukma begins to recite a spell to raise the dead. Orip urgently tells them to run, and as they attempt to flee, Sukma tries to stop them. Orip begins reciting prayers to halt Sukma's pursuit. He cautiously approaches her and commands her to return to hell. However, Sukma overpowers him and rips his hand from his body. She tells him that his life and death are in her hands, and then she possesses the corpses and sends them after Gani and Aylin. Outside, Gani and Aylin find Zia's lifeless body, but as they see the dead bodies approaching them, both start running towards the exit. Gani gets Alan out of there and tells her to go ahead while he's going to find Fitra. Aylin tells him that he's going to die, to which he hands her the keys to his drawer, containing his savings, which she can take for herself and Begaz. She tries to stop him, but he insists that she should go home. He then moves forward to confront the living dead and fights them off to prevent them from harming Zia, managing to knock them all down. However, as he begins to carry Zia away to search for Fitra, Fitra attacks him and starts devouring him alive. Aylin tries to leave the scene, but then her eyes fall on Sukma, filling her with rage. Sukma begins reciting spells, further enraging Alan. She drives the van towards Sukma, hitting her and crashing the van into a tree, crushing Sukma. Aylin then comes out of the car and sees that the living dead are eating Gani while he is still alive. She attacks and kills them one by one with the Kuris, but Gani stops her from killing Fitra, and then, after death, he himself becomes possessed. Meanwhile, Sukma emerges and declares that death is not the end, but her resurrection. Furious, Alan moves forward to attack her, and an intense fight ensues. Finally, Aelin manages to stab Sukma with the Karis. However, suddenly, Sukma transforms into Alan's father, who accuses her of killing her mother and father and suggests that her brother might be dead because she left him alone. He offers her to join him in hell and pushes her back. As he approaches her to attack her, Aelin grabs Karis and stabs him again in the neck, finally killing Sukma by severing her head. Next, we see Aelin and Bagaz leaving the building when they encounter the man again. She hands him the money, clearing her father's debt. However, when the man continues to harass her, she takes out the Karis and cuts his throat, prompting him to run away. As he leaves, Urip appears and tells Aelin that Cerno Patang is meant for noble tasks, so she can't use it as she pleases. He explains that her aura exudes anger, which means Cerno Patang chose her to cleanse the heirloom, just as her ancestors did. He asks her to take good care of it because it chose her, and she will draw strength from it as she also makes sacrifices for it. He then calls her by her full name, Alan Wihangamapti, and the movie ends. Thanks for facing the frights with us. If you survived this video, drop a like, summon that subscribe button, and brace yourself for more horror. Until next time, stay spooked.